Hey everybody, it is Deanna with the Sassy Girl Entrepreneur Show, and I am here with my friend Sherris, hi Sherris, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Sherris has been on the show a few times actually. She is a community leader and a business and community business development, and I'm so excited to have you here today and back with me.
I am so appreciative of the opportunity. Truly. Always
Well,
exciting to chat with you.
right? I always enjoy this time. I always
We
feel
always
like
have
we
fun.
get to talk. We do it anyhow, but when it's recorded, it's just a little bit more fun.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, so today we're going to be talking about restaurant survival during a crisis, and this is something that actually Sherris and I had started a conversation about offline, just because of all the changes that are going on with COVID. Still, when we first started talking about COVID-19 and how it impacted the business community, um, we I should say thought it was going to be short term. I didn't think this was going to be a long term conversation, and now here we are ending 2020 and we're still talking about
And looking into 2021, I mean, unfortunately, it's just the
it.
hard truth. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really impacting a lot of businesses. We want to talk about restaurants today, uh, mainly because I think they're one of the groups, one of the biggest groups that are hurting. Uh, if you've got a service or you have a different product, it's a little bit easier to sell that online and just to change from a brick or mortar to an e-commerce store. Not to say that brick and mortars have an easy time. That's not what I'm implying at all. I'm just saying with restaurants, it's a little bit more unique. It's a little bit more of a challenge to
It,
survive when
yeah,
when
it
these
is.
things are shutting them down.
Right. And people with whereas a store, even though it's lovely to go into a like shop, and when I say like shop selling soap or whatever, with a restaurant, a lot of times people, they're not just going because they're hungry, they're going for the experience.
Right.
So now, so when you can't go into a restaurant, don't worry, don't get me wrong. Delivery is really great food and that's wonderful. But a lot of times people, if they're hungry, they can just buy food at a grocery store. But if they want an experience, a social experience, they go into a restaurant. So this has definitely had an impact on that.
Right, definitely. And I'm guilty of that, right? I mean, I do cook a lot at home, but I do enjoy going out to eat just for a change of scenery, just to get
Exactly.
out, and that's challenging, you know? I mean,
And
right
it's a good thing to be guilty of. I'm glad that you enjoy that because they're going to need all our support going back out once things change down the road. But yeah, no.
yeah. Yes, they really are. But you know what? That's a great point. They are going to need all of our support down the road, but they need our support right now too.
Absolutely.
And you know that. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
definitely
do I?
know that. So in Pennsylvania, which is where you're at, you're in Pennsylvania in the Shenango Hermitage area, and there's something unique going on over there with the Facebook group. What are they doing?
Yeah, we have so right when this all like kind of happened last March, like when restaurants and things were shut down, everything was just to kind of mitigate the concerns of COVID growing, which it did anyhow, unfortunately. We had two sisters set up this Facebook page that was supposed to just help support local restaurants, Shenango Valley Takeout. And, you probably can find those kind of Facebook pages across the United States. But in this case, it blew up hugely fast. I mean, they're almost at 12,000 people at this point, and they really focus on keeping it very positive. So like, people want to complain about stuff, they won't allow it on there. It's just, I'll post pictures of food and specials and sales. And boy, has it really, I think it's helped. Like people were discovering restaurants they didn't even know were in their own backyard. So
That's awesome. I mean, that's great because there are a lot of, I think sometimes the smaller ones that you don't know about are some of the best restaurants. Like only
absolutely.
the local community really knows about those restaurants.
Those
And
mom and pops.
this
Yep.
yeah, and that Facebook page is really reaching 12,000 people, which I don't know what the population is in
Yeah.
Shenandoah, my parent area,
That's like
but I know it's
larger
a
than
small
like some of our
community,
small,
so
it's larger than some of our smaller cities here, the smaller communities are, here. So it was a really, and then the other thing that we deal with where we're located. So we're located like almost smack between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, right in the heart of what they call the Rust Belt. We deal with a lot of like, and you and I have discussed this in the past, there's some technological fracturing or layering. We even have some businesses here that don't have websites or they don't have email addresses. So Facebook has become a huge deal for promoting restaurants that maybe weren't normally on any kind of social media or very minimally. And it
yeah.
helped get them a lot more attention and a lot more, coverage, seeing, oh, this picture of a pizza or a picture of mac and cheese that's made at these places that's getting that has a lot more on a page that has a lot more traction because of the almost 12,000 people on there.
Right. Now, have you noticed in your area, are more restaurants going on to Facebook than were normally there prior to this pandemic?
Yes, and I would actually credit this page among a few other things as one of the reasons where they saw such an immediate effect that people were like, I didn't know that this place had pizza or this or that. And so it was helping their business grow. So then I think it helped them go, okay, if it's happening here, I better start beefing up my own Facebook page or create one, or maybe create an Instagram, which maybe they didn't have before, start to dabble a little bit more into social media, and because they realize the immediate positive effects.
That's awesome. So what are some other things that we could do? You mentioned a little bit, so I'm going to start with one idea that hopefully a lot of restaurants are doing, because we want to give some advice and, be at least a starting of a conversation, right? For
Yeah.
restaurants of what you can do if you're really struggling. You mentioned earlier about they were hopping on to Facebook, right? Because maybe they didn't even have a website. I think right now it's important. Yes, Facebook is great. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
No,
Facebook
no,
is
no. I
great.
know. And we're a little more Facebook heavy here in our area.
Yeah,
But yeah.
ton of value in being there. In fact, I highly recommend that you are there if you're a business, but you need to have your own website too. And I'm implementing that online ordering. If you didn't do it before, I guess we go in phases, right? First
Right.
off, have a menu. Have your
Yes.
menu on your page, because people are looking at home to see what they're hungry for. They've been doing this, but now it's even more important. But then having a
Exactly.
way that they can actually purchase through your website is so important right now to help drive sales.
It really is, and again, because there's a little more struggle here sometimes, just even posting pictures of menus is such a big deal. Like, post it on your Instagram, post it on, the Facebook page, post it on your own page, Facebook page, hopefully that you have, it just seems so simple. And I'm gonna piggyback on that. Take that same menu, take it and post it, print it out on bigger paper or whatever, have it in your window at your store, have your phone number huge at your store so that people can just pull up and call and make a quick order, and then they can just sit for 20 minutes till it's done.
Right.
It seems like a simple thing, but I will tell you, if, like, for example, I'd pulled up at one restaurant and was going to call, but their Google, like, it didn't show, they weren't up on Google for some reason. So I had to like look on Facebook to find their number. I know. And I was like, no, you just put a big old sign that has your phone number. It seems real simple, but you've got older people that aren't as tech savvy.
Right.
Let them see that number. Let them see that menu,
Right. Great point, right? I guess
Yeah.
number two, Google My Business.
Yeah.
People, if
Oh,
you
yes.
don't have your Google My Business set up, do it today. If
Yes.
you're listening to this, do it today. Make it a priority to have Google My Business set up. Because people do. We're going to Google. It's one of the most popular search platforms. So we're going there to look for things, and we want all that information. We want a link to the website. We want the phone number that we can call. And if you're not there, let's put it this way: if I was just looking for pizza, and you didn't come up, I'd search for a different pizza shop, unless I
Right.
was madly in love with your pizza and I wanted your pizza. But if I was just craving pizza and wanted something in the area and I didn't see you on Google and I can't find your website, I'm probably moving on. I
Right.
mean,
And you know what? And this was actually, I'm looking at my phone that this, what I usually do is when I pull up to a restaurant is I just pull up my maps, Google, my Google Maps, because usually they come up. Well, for example, this one didn't come up and I'm like, what is going, so then I had to do extra
what
work
is
to
going
find
on?
it. And I know, like, it's, so I'm like, I'm right here. Where am I? I know I'm parked right in front of it. But for some reason, and then I talked to them later and here someone had kind of taken their name or, and they don't know who it is. And I said, you know what you do? You just, tweak the name of your restaurants. It's the teeniest bit and create a new page and then, put a thing out saying that this is not there,
Yeah.
put a complaint out saying that to Google that that's not your page. But
Yeah,
I
and
don't,
I'm
yeah.
trying definitely, and apply for it. Google, I'm trying to think of the actual link, and I don't know if it's google.mybusiness.com or if it's like my business. If you just type in the search bar, Google My Business, it will come up where you can set up an account. Now, it's not going to go live right away when you set up that account, but what it will do is you can enter all that information. Google's going to send you a postcard to the address of the business to verify it's you. Now, that postcard, when it comes in your mail, it's going to look like junk mail. Don't throw it away. It's gonna look totally like junk mail. But on that card, there's actually a code that you're gonna log back into Google My Business and enter that code. Once you do that, then you verify that it's actually your account, and now all that information will go live. So definitely important to do that. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite places. So I will take the time to look it up on Facebook and on my phone, and I'm like, but I know it has to be buried. And thankfully I'm friends with some of the owners. I just texted them and said, put your phone number in the window. Just
Yes.
do it until you're dealing with get this dealt with. Just get a big piece of cardboard or whatever, and nicely put your phone number and then put your menus right on the window so people can just walk up to the window, don't have to go in, and then they can call and make the order. Anything to remove any kind of barrier for people to order.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Even if it seems real basic, like a cardboard with your phone number, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Hit all the levels of people. You're gonna have the people that are very tech savvy with the phone, but you're also gonna have those people that they might have their flip phone and just make it easy for them.
Right. I mean, because there's going to be all sorts of people. There are going to be people that still have a flip phone, and love
yes, and they do.
And then there's going to be that are a little bit more tech savvy that'll go online and try to search for you. For those that are going online looking for you, on your social media, if there's something you're offering, curbside pickup, free delivery, any of those things, put that on the cover of your Facebook business page. Let people know so that when they go there, it's easy to find, not just a post. Posts get lost, right? Put it somewhere where they're definitely going to see it, and they know what's going on.
Right. Absolutely.
So, I know last time when we talked, we were talking a lot about what the community can do, right, to support businesses. And we talked about gift cards, and we talked about, ordering from them, and getting it delivered or, whatever, just
Yeah, right. All these different
them,
ways.
continue to support these restaurants. On the flip, now today we're talking about how restaurants can survive, what the restaurant can actually do to stay alive during this crisis, right? Because they're getting shut down. I know we said Pennsylvania has now paused.
Yeah, they're on Pennsylvania in pause or whatever they're calling it. Yeah,
through
the beginning of January.
Florida is still open. The restaurants are still open. But you know what? I think 2021 might bring some changes. I don't know. But New York, Dariana, who is a dear friend, and she's been on this show several times. She's in New York City. And they've paused. I don't know if that's the exact.
That's the term. I know it's becoming the term. Right.
Yeah, they've done the same thing in New York. So a lot of states are really dealing with this right now. So today, Sherris has joined me so that we can talk about, how we could survive during this time, how restaurants can survive during this time. And we were kind of talking offline. It's really just a way, changing up the way you think, right? Restaurants have worked in a certain way for years, and it's been fine. You go in, you order off a menu of what you want. It's the atmosphere, and then you go home, right? It's pretty simple process. And now all of a sudden, not everybody can go in. It's either half capacity or no capacity. We're talking about, contactless pickup. Hey, you sit in your car, curbside pickup. These are all common things that we hear all the time. This has become our normal right now. And something else that I've seen restaurants do is instead of offering that individual meal like before, they're changing things and doing things more family style.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I
that's a big
do.
deal. Yeah, I do. And here's the thing about family style. So I'm a single person. So I'm like, well, I'm not feeding like a family. I just have a loud, noisy cat. But that is my daughter's. I feel like I have to say that because I'm not a cat lady. There's nothing wrong with having cats, but I'm not a cat lady. I am just a reluctant cat babysitter. So anyhow, but that said, family style is still like you can still also like I would encourage restaurants to say, here's like for the whole family, or if you want to have like 4 meals for the whole weekend or whatever for individuals, for single people, like here's a chance to order family style, and now you have put some in the freezer, put some whatever, now you have meals for 3 or 4 days, or share one with drop one off with the neighbors, or because I have all my neighbors in their 70s, so so there's ways to kind of spin that mindset, like so that way, because I'd go, oh, I'm not going to order family style, but if someone would say, oh, this would be great for having 5 meals all covered with one pickup or one delivery.
Yeah.
Oh, then I don't have to pay extra fees for delivery or whatever. Yeah. Now that becomes more attractive to me.
Absolutely. And it's easy because I mean, I cook a lot at home. We also do go out. We do, go out to eat. Everything, like I said, here in Florida is still opened as of today. But I don't like cooking all the time. Like some
No,
people are like, I love to cook. I don't love to cook.
I store my shoes in
I'm
my
not,
stove because I never cook in my stove. So there's
yeah,
that. So,
yeah,
well, but I'm going to tell you too, here's even with your state, your state in Florida, things are open. Here we're on a pause. But at the end of the day, before we even went on a pause, we had, and I'm sure you're seeing this too, we had restaurants shutting down just because someone got COVID and there was an exposure. So
yes,
like heading right into this pause, we had like 4 restaurants that were closed for a week or two just for cleaning and for because there was an exposure, and so
yeah,
maybe the exposure was enough people that they had to shut down. So we're already there was already some automatic pausing that was happening just because of COVID. So,
yeah.
and I'm sure you're going to
Sure.
see that in a state even with that where things are open. I'm sure that's happening there too.
Yeah.
So yeah, and how do you
Great
keep
point.
doing
Very, very
business?
good point. And that's happening with all businesses as well, right? So,
Right.
somebody is getting COVID and everything is shutting down and going back. And I don't know about you. I'm just looking forward when this is all done.
Yes.
It's all
Oh my goodness, yes. And obviously our restaurants are too. I mean, I think a big thing, like we've been saying, is the family style, which is really helpful. The other thing I would say is every single delivery, like have in that delivery, I would throw in a takeout menu, throw in a coupon, throw in something, and I already know that they're struggling financially. I get it, but anything to like keep them coming back or to keep
yes.
it easier, top of mind. Okay, I can, or just even a card that says for takeout delivery, here's our phone number, just post this on your, get little magnets. Cause I will tell you, we work with like up here, we work with, some different printing companies, and they will like just do like little mini magnets for like 150 mini magnets, very reasonably priced, because, and then now you have something that people can post on their fridge
Yeah.
or whatever, and they can call. Do everything you can to take away any barrier from people delivering. We got DoorDash. We were getting DoorDash and Grubhub like the late end of last year for this area, which is a big deal. And they do take a fee. I get that, but at least I would still say use it anyhow, because you still get some, you get your name out there, you're on their website, people see you. But then also invest in hiring someone to deliver. Just invest in that, because, and honestly, even after post-COVID, people like having delivery. They're starting to really enjoy like getting stuff delivered to their home. Invest in that person to deliver, and then you don't have to worry about the fee. You're just paying them to deliver. Like, talk to your neighbor who owns it, or your company, the neighboring company owns a pizza joint. They've been doing this for years. Find out how their model is and incorporate it, because that way you can avoid some of those fees. But that way it's another, like there's certain restaurants I'll specifically call because I know they have a delivery person and I'd rather give them more of my money.
Yeah.
I'll still use DoorDash because I know at least gets them some business, but there's certain restaurants I will specifically call because I know they have a specific delivery person, a dedicated delivery person, and I can give them. They get more of the tip. They get more of everything. So
Right. I think that's smart business. I
yeah,
mean,
I
I
do
think
too.
being part of DoorDash and Uber Eats and all of those, yes, it's important because some people will just use those apps. But as a
They
business
will.
owner during a time of financial burden, to be able to deliver yourself and take those fees away, if it makes sense, right? If it
Right.
financially makes sense. And that's another thing. Like right now, as a restaurant owner, you really need to know what your numbers. You need to
Yes.
know your budget. You need to know what you can cut. It's okay to have a limited menu right now. You
Yeah.
don't have to have that full menu that you always provide. Cut back, and on just keep like those most popular items, or maybe those items where the food that you're buying goes further than some
Yes.
of those unique items, right?
And also the ability to have someone in your own company do delivery, especially right now where we're on this pause. So then restaurants have had to lay off some of their staff. That's a way to keep some of them a little bit
Work.
employed still, you know what I mean? Keep them
Yep.
working. And so it's just, thinking outside that box, but
Yeah. And
it's not going to go away. Like that's what I tell people,
no.
like COVID's going to go away. We pray and we hope, but um, the idea of delivery, people have gotten very used to that, and they like that. I mean, we even have like a chocolate shop, a candy shop. They're on Grubhub, so you can get candy bars delivered or something. Not that I have done that, but but I've sent it. I will tell you what I have done is I've sent it to friends to just cheer their
Yeah.
day. Oh, I'm going to send them some chocolate from this chocolate store. So I mean,
I
I would
love it.
even right, and I would even say that, and I know we're talking about restaurants specifically, but I would even say that I would even pivot that to some of our smaller businesses that get a lot of traffic. Maybe think about getting a delivery option of your own to you deliver me some gorgeous handmade soap. Okay, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anything to remove the barrier, like I said.
You mentioned something a little bit ago, and I want to bring that up. You mentioned about right now people trying to keep their staff, restaurants and everybody, but restaurants trying to keep their staff and maybe utilizing them as a delivery person to keep them going. And I really believe that when the community knows that you are trying to keep as many employees as you can still working despite this challenge. Now, it's not always possible to do that. And I think the community understands that as well. But when they see you trying to find creative ways to keep people employed, they respond to that.
They do. So that goes back to communication. Post things
Yeah.
like that on your Facebook page. Post a picture of here's our delivery guy, so and so, or delivery girl, so and so. You're trying, and you don't have to say we're trying to keep them employed, but you can say, hey, say hello to make sort of add that sort of fun element, but also just say these are some of the options we've done. If something we do deal with, because there is a little we've had to kind of move ahead into our region where we're ahead more into using technology for communications. People aren't always in the habit of getting the word out. You've got to get the word out. You've got to
Yes.
put it on a poster board in your window and put it on
Yes.
your Facebook page, whatever you've got to do. Get the word out that, look, we need your support. We have delivery. We have this, because that's been a challenge too, is finding out what everyone is doing. That's why that Facebook page with the takeout, what they started to do is restaurants started to see what other restaurants are posting and what people were posting and what got a lot of attention. And that's
Yeah.
been helping them get a little more savvy and nuanced to it, which is great.
So important. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Definitely. And you're right. That's where that Facebook group page has really helped a lot of the businesses in your area, which I hope other areas implement that as well, because I think it's a really great idea. But yes, get the message out there. And if you feel like you are sounding like a broken record, you're not. People are not seeing it. They're not seeing it the way you think that they're seeing it. So keep communicating. Um, just go, like, honestly, because with social media, not everybody sees everything. So you have to keep repeating it. And we are so desensitized to so much information that we might see it but not see it.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Keep sharing it, keep
And
talking about it.
And I'll take that even back to what we talked about earlier about, having a Facebook, having an Instagram, even having maybe even a LinkedIn business page. You can have that too. But how important, or Twitter too. But in our area, people don't use Twitter as much. But how important it is. You might think it's just a simple picture of, I'm going to just post a picture of a pizza every day or a soup every day. People love to look at food. They love that so much. Make sure that you're posting a picture every day too, so that people can see
Yeah.
what you're doing. And you might not think it's like, oh, no big deal or whatever, but I will tell you, people will look and go, oh, that pizza looks good, I want pizza now. Like
It's so true. They're
it's
like, I'm
simple and
hungry,
it's
and then all of
free.
a sudden
I
you
know,
see a
I
picture
know. Like, what the heck? I know. But I mean, don't underestimate the value just because you're not paying for it per se. It is very helpful. It is very
Absolutely.
useful. And so I really would say that to restaurants. I know this is a struggling time, but that little, that one post could get you another 5 pizzas sold that day. Like
Yep.
just something as simple as that. So,
And you
you
know
know,
what? You can take great photos. You can take really good photos with most cell phones
yeah,
anymore. So you don't
absolutely.
have to hire. I mean, if you have the ability to hire somebody who is a product photographer to take that burger with the juiciness on it, by all means do it. But if you
That's awesome,
don't,
right? If you can,
your
but if you
our
don't,
cell phones are great at that, and try to get really, really good photos that
absolutely. I have an iPhone and they have a when you take photos, you can turn it to portrait, which makes it look like so much
right?
better. And I'm like, I don't, wow, I look like,
It's
so
like,
every
wow,
little bit.
I'm
Yeah,
professional now.
exactly. But it's also just consistency, getting your message out consistently, especially, I mean, obviously anytime, but especially during this pandemic crisis time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so important to get that message out and be creative. I mean, we got the holidays, so buy a gift card for a family member, buy gift cards for people in need, and people respond to that. And we talked a little bit about this. We have some businesses up here that do these cool like decorating kits. Like they'll do like buy 4 cookies and you get sprinkles and frosting. So now they did it at Easter. Now they're doing it at Christmas. And actually, like a local ice cream shop did like 4 sundaes with sprinkles and things you can decorate. And they're calling them like snowmen or something. Like just have some fun,
Yeah.
seasonalize it. And I know like, no one's having fun right now, so I want to be careful when I say that. I want to caveat that. But put out the perception of here's a way to like make your own pizza or make your and so because people are looking for an experience, they can't really travel, they can't do a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah.
So create something that they can do, not just buy for a family, a family of a whole bunch of food for a family, but let's create an experience for that family. Here, we'll give you 3 pizza shells and all the toppings, and you can have fun having your own pizza party with your family at home. So
I love that idea.
and you can do
There was a place like that, right? In Youngstown, actually, right in Boardman. And when I was working full time, I don't know if you remember Gordy's.
I do.
Okay, so I love Gordy, right? And she's in Pennsylvania now, I believe. But she had I don't want to call it a restaurant, but you were able, like a take and bake, right? Like you can take the food and bake it at home, and you can prep it any way that you wanted. And she had things already pre-prepped. I love that concept because it was a little bit more expensive than going to the grocery store, but she did all the thinking for me. So it was less expensive
Exactly.
than going to a restaurant, but you can still have a quality family meal, right? It wasn't like buying the frozen food section at the grocery store. You had fresh ingredients, you had good food, and you had easy instructions on how to make this at home, which I think is a great idea. I don't know legally what the laws are in every single state if they're able to do that when it's not cooked, but if they are able to, I think that's another great alternative to create those kits.
Well, and I know here, like they're doing like cookies or pizza shells. So I mean, they're doing things that they do have to cook, but they're not as big of a deal. The cookies they don't have to cook though, and the ice cream they don't. But the other thought is too, and again, knowing there's a lot of pressure on our restaurants and they have a lot going on. But even a simple video, like just using your phone, a simple video of you frosting a cookie in your bakery, or of you putting some toppings on a pizza. Simple. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes. It could be 30 seconds, literally, of just croutons on a pretty salad, and just put that out there because that will help people like see that you're still in business, still needing, still selling great food, and also get them that hungry and they're going to go and buy that food,
Right.
I think
Absolutely. And we
um
like the peek behind the curtain. We
yes,
like seeing what's going on, right, in
yeah,
business and how things are done, and we like knowing the owners. We like understanding.
absolutely.
We like seeing their families. I mean, we
It,
are just wired that way for that human connection. So build that, nurture that relationship.
exactly, because it helps people feel like they're personally investing when they're spending their money with you. I
Right.
think that's one thing that was really eye-opening this year is people really realized that their dollars mattered. Like they realized, wow, when I do spend at my local restaurants, I
Yeah.
am literally helping them keep their doors open. And I
Yeah.
think that that was really, I mean, I think on some level people kind of were aware of that, but that was very eye-opening for this year. So, that's, obviously we know that we want the people to shop there. I was going to suggest another idea too. And I know, we've been talking about a lot of different ones, but, the other idea is I know that there's a thing called, like, I know that people like in cities, more bigger cities will buy like boxes of veggies or, they get fresh fruits or vegetables from different, farmers. They call them CSAs. And then they get, they get these, they can every week they get fresh veggies or whatever. Well, maybe create a subscription service, a low key one. I'm not saying to get all fancy and
Yeah.
no one has a lot of time for that, but just like, hey, how about a monthly family style meal, sign up for this prescription program or subscription prescription program. Oh my
You
gosh.
can do that too.
That too. Whatever you need. Hey, whatever you need. No one's judging. But sign up for a subscription program. Maybe create a subscription program where normally a family style meal is $50. Well, pay for a year in advance and get it for $40 each. You know what I mean? And then now the restaurant has a little cash inflow, and then they just have to do, and do it for pickup, whatever. And then once a month you come and pick up your family, whenever you want to redeem it, pick up your family style meal,
Yeah.
and that might be a way to get some cash flow into these restaurants that need it right now.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Very cool idea. Well, Sherris, we're going to wrap this up. I love the ideas that we talked about. Hopefully they help some of the restaurants out there kind of change the way they're doing things, or something we said gave an aha moment to somebody. So they're like, oh, I want to give that a shot. Let's see if we can do that. And if you don't have a restaurant and you're listening, please keep supporting them right now. Support them so they can keep their employees working. Buy a gift card, order curbside pickup, whatever,
Exactly.
delivery,
Whatever it takes.
whatever.
They need us right now. We like, and I've said this before to you, we've gone to them when we are doing giveaways or, different auctions that are for events for, and they give us gift cards and they've donated so much. Now is the time where we can help support them. And it's so
Right.
important that we do so.
Definitely. So thank you on that note. I want to thank you again for joining me. Always
So
a
happy
great
to.
conversation with you, Sherris.
Always. It always is. I appreciate the opportunity, truly.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And we'll catch everybody next week. So we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.